never in my life seen this many edits of myself on my own For You page on TikTok until this last week when they're literally everywhere. If you read the title of this video, you might be wondering, how does that correlate with having chubby cheeks or face fat? Well, all of these edits are saying that I glued down because my face went from this to this, and then now I'm pretty much close back to where I was. So in this video, I'm going to explain exactly how you can transform your face so that people make edits of you on TikTok. Not actually, but you will look a lot better if you do these things.
Step number 1 is eating bananas. Bananas have potassium, and when you eat them, it's actually going to make your face look a little bit slimmer for the time being. Now, bananas actually don't have that much potassium, so I actually recommend a potassium supplement instead. Like this big boy right here, this is potassium sorbate. People put it in their food. I actually put it in my salt spray as a preservative, but you can also consume this, and there's a high likelihood I might snort this entire thing if my face gets too chubby. Gotta finish this banana. Step number 2 for getting a slimmer face is just drinking a ton of water, but this only works if you stay tuned for the next couple of steps, because if not, drinking a ton of water could actually make you look more chubby in the face because your body will retain it. That being said, I recommend drinking about a gallon of water a day if you can, and I highly recommend making sure it's filtered because your tap water a lot of times has a lot of bad things in it that you don't want. Now, if you want to drink a gallon of water a day, there's a few things you can do. One thing that I recommend is carrying a container like this or an actual gallon, because if you have the gallon, you can easily measure it. It's literally like you see a gallon getting empty over time. I think you get the point. This is going to help flush your system, but only if you follow this next step. Cutting out the salt, and yes, this includes salt spray. The reason you do this is because salt actually makes water stay retained in your face. Now, the thing is, a lot of things that you're consuming on a daily basis have a ton of salt, aka sodium, and you can check this by looking at the back of your label and seeing how much sodium is in there. If you see a large amount of sodium in the things that you're eating, you're probably gonna have a chubbier face and body. And if you remember, I was talking about this correlating with the last step, and the reason that it does is because if you drink a ton of water and you don't consume salt, it flushes your body completely. When you drink a ton of water, it basically tells your body that you're hydrated, and then when you don't eat a lot of salt, it's going to keep you from maintaining any water at all. Now, don't cut out all the salt in your body, because this is actually going to make you extremely dehydrated, but doing it for a day could make an insane difference on the way that your face looks. Step number 4 or 5, I have no idea where we are right now, but basically being active is key. So going on a walk, doing some jumping jacks, doing some push-ups, pull-ups, squats, it doesn't matter what it is, doing those things is going to help move your lymphatic system. Your lymphatic system is basically like the waterways within your body. You can kind of look at it as like a river system, and a lot of them are in your face. And the thing is, when they're sitting stagnant, like not moving, your face is going to feel a lot more chubby and bloated. And based on the way that you sleep, let's say you sleep with your head tilted downward, a lot of those waterways or whatever are going to build up and making your face feel extremely bloated whenever you wake up. Look at this little guy. I don't know if we're at step 5 or 6, but the next thing you need to do is cut out the sugar and the bread. Now, the reason that you have to do this is because they basically inflame your gut. So if you guys didn't know this already, sugar actually inflames your gut, which can give you acne, but also make your face look a lot more bloated. And guess what? Carbs, aka bread, pasta, noodles, like anything like that, actually is also a type of sugar. This is because while you're digesting it, it turns into something called glucose, so it's like equally as bad. So if you want to actually get a slimmer face, I would cut out all sugar long term. So like throughout every day-to-day decision you make, I would just try to make the sugar-free option, like sugar-free soda, sugar-free candy, if that's even a thing, I don't know. We're just avoiding that stuff altogether, because a lot of that has like artificial food dyes and all that, and you just want to avoid all that together.
Next step is changing your proportions, specifically using your hair. So basically growing your hair out longer is going to make your face look slimmer because of the proportions. So the fact that it's bigger back here is going to make my face look more narrow, which can also help with that chubby cheek look. The best way to fix this, in my opinion, without actually growing your hair out, is just by adding volume to your hair using a product like this salt spray. This is my brand Simpletics. You can find it at simpletics.com or the top link in my bio. I use this literally like every day to get that fluffy beach hair look. It makes my face look so much better. It's just 5 all natural ingredients. All the other products on my website are going to be natural as well. Honestly, it's the main reason my hair looks the way it does. If you want your hair to be even more thick and stand up on its own, I recommend just cutting out the usage of shampoo for a while. It'll basically allow your hair to build back its grit, is what I like to call it. That's pretty much your natural hair oil, and essentially by letting that build up, it's going to make your hair look a lot thicker. The most important step of this entire process is going to be going into a calorie deficit. This is where you eat less calories than you burn per day, and essentially this is going to make you lose body fat. The best way to do this is by eating high protein foods, because typically high protein foods are lower in calories. It's going to be cutting out junk food. It's going to be eating all whole foods like meat, fruit, and vegetables. This takes by far the longest to show actual results, but it's the most effective because you're actually losing the mass in your face. Doing all these water techniques and stuff I mentioned earlier is going to make a difference, but it's not as significant as actually losing the fat. Now, busting myths. Do products like this actually work? This is a Jade Roller, and essentially you roll it on your cheeks, jawline, wherever, and it's supposed to make your face lose fat. But that's not actually what it does at all. If you remember earlier in this video, I mentioned lymph fluid, and this basically moves the lymph fluid around your face and pushes it around. So if you wake up and your face is really chubby and bloated, what you can do is basically use this to push the fluid like out of your cheeks. And temporarily, it is going to make it different. So now that you know how to get a slimmer face, go watch this video so you know how to get abs.